Welcome to the Planning Your Summer Food Service Program application training for the Summer Food Service Program hosted by the Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs. In this training, we will review information on applying to become a SFSP sponsor, how applications are approved, what happens if an application is denied, what is included in the permanent sponsor agreement, what a sponsor may appeal, and a planning checklist for your program. All sponsors are required to submit an initial program application. The application process involves submittal of paper forms and online forms through CMP Web, which is ODE CMP's online application and claiming system. ODE CMP will provide the applicant with all necessary application materials. A list of application requirements cannot be all-inclusive. However, the following slides indicates the basic application requirements that sponsors must satisfy. The application materials must demonstrate adequate administrative and financial responsibility to manage an effective food service. School food authorities, or SFAs, and other sponsors currently in good standing in the NSLP, School Breakfast Program, or SBP, or Child and Adult Care Food Program, or CACFP, are not required to submit further evidence of financial and administrative capability when applying for SFSP participation. Typically, SFAs and CACFP sponsors participating in other child nutrition programs have already demonstrated that they have the financial and administrative capability necessary to operate the NSLP, SBP, or CACFP. A SFA or CACFP sponsor is considered to be in good standing if it has been reviewed during the previous 12 months and had no significant deficiencies. However, ODE CMP has the discretion to deny the applications or at a minimum require additional evidence of financial and administrative capability from SFAs and CACFP sponsors that have had significant problems operating the NSLP, SBP, or CACFP. In order to participate in the SFSP, sponsors must enter into a permanent program agreement with ODE CMP. The agreement is a legally binding document that specifies the rights and responsibilities of both the sponsor and ODE CMP and should be read carefully before being signed. The Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010 requires that the agreement between the state agency and SFSP sponsor be permanent. This means that once ODE CMP and SFSP sponsors enter into an agreement, it does not need to be renewed. However, SFSP sponsors operating under a permanent agreement must submit renewal information that must be approved by ODE CMP annually. It is important to understand that describing the agreement as permanent means only that the agreement has no predetermined expiration date. Under certain circumstances, these agreements may be amended or canceled, and this feature of the agreement does not create contractual obligations beyond those described in the SFSP regulations. This requirement reduces paperwork for sponsors and state agencies and simplifies program management. Under the agreement, the sponsor must agree to operate a nonprofit food service during the agreed upon period, usually from May through September for children on school vacation, serve meals that meet program requirements at the approved sites during times designated as meal service periods by the sponsor, and serve the same meal to all children, serve meals without cost to all children, except that camps may charge for meals served to children not served meals under the program, issue a free meal policy statement, train administrative and site personnel as required, claim reimbursement only for types of meals specified in the agreement and served without charge to eligible children at approved sites during the approved meal service period, submit claims for reimbursement as required by ODE CMP, maintain proper sanitation and health standards as required by state and local law, use in the program food donated by USDA and accepted by the sponsor, have access to facilities necessary for storing, preparing, and serving food, maintain a financial management system, FNS Instruction 796-4, Revision 4, Financial Management Summer Food Service Program for Children provides information on establishing standards, principles, and guidelines in the development and maintenance of financial management systems. You can access the instruction at the ODE CMP SFSP public website. Maintain on file documentation of required site visits and reviews, and make all accounts and records related to the program available to authorized officials on request, and retain financial and administrative responsibility for the program. Applicants must also submit documentation of tax-exempt status under the Federal Internal Revenue Code of 1986 if they are private nonprofit entities. Note that SFSP regulations do not require church sponsors to obtain federal tax-exempt documentation. W-9 form and a Data Universal Numbering System, or DUNS number. A DUNS number is a unique, non-indicative, 9-digit identifier issued and maintained by Dun & Bradstreet that verifies the existence of a business entity globally. DNB assigns DUNS numbers for each physical location of a business. There are two ways to obtain a DUNS number. By phone, you can call the toll-free number at 1-866-705-5711 or online by visiting the website located on this slide. Sponsors must submit a written policy on free meals. This policy statement, which must be approved by ODE CMP, explains that the same meal is served to all children regardless of reimbursement status and without discrimination against any child because of race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability. Additionally, camps that charge separately for meals also must explain that the camp uses USDA's eligibility standards for family size and income levels at the level of reduced price school meals. Describe how the camp accepts income eligibility forms from campers and assures that children whose families receive SNAP, FDPIR, or TANF benefits are automatically eligible for free meals. Describe how the camp will collect payments from children who must pay the full price for meals, and how the camp ensures that children receiving free meals are not overtly identified. Assure that the camp has a hearing procedure for families who want to appeal a denial of eligibility for free meals, and assure that if a family requests a hearing, the child will continue to receive free meals until a decision is made by the hearing official. Sponsors must submit documentation demonstrating site eligibility for all sites. Please see Administrative Guidance Part 1, Planning the Program Eligibility Training for more information on site eligibility. Sponsors must submit a sample 1-month menu for all meals being offered at the site. Sponsors will need to submit a budget including estimated operating costs and estimated administrative costs for the upcoming program year. ODE CMP has waived the budget requirement for public schools or private nonprofit schools that participated in the SFSP during the preceding summer or during vacation breaks in the current year for schools operating on a year-round calendar and had no operational problems during that time as reported by ODE CMP or FNS. For sponsors that plan to use a food service management company to provide meals, provide a copy of the invitation for bid. Sponsors should also submit plans for advertisement for bids if they intend to contract with a food service management company. For sponsors that plan to use a school food authority or other entity to provide meals, provide a copy of the vended meal agreement. Sponsors must certify that a training program will be conducted for monitors and site personnel. Include information explaining when the training will be held and the topics that will be discussed. Sponsors may apply for startup payments if available and if the sponsor wants to receive them. If the sponsor is a governmental entity or a private nonprofit organization, certify that the sponsor will have direct operational control at each site. To submit forms through CMP Web, sponsors must submit CMP Web user authorization requests to ODE CMP. Staff that will be responsible for submitting applications and claims will need access. In addition, respective staff can have view access only if they will not be submitting applications or claims. Other forms submitted through CMP Web. Sponsor Information Sheet. The Sponsor Information Sheet includes contact information for the sponsor, staff contact information, the management plan, information on meal service, etc. Sponsors may request advance payments through the Sponsor Information Sheet. These are payments that may be received before the program begins to pay for administrative and operating costs that are incurred before the program starts. A management plan that includes staffing responsibilities. The management plan is included in the sponsor information sheet. Site information sheets for all participating sites. The site information sheet includes documentation that the site is capable of managing an effective meal service times, documentation of eligibility, average daily attendance, site meal caps, etc. Online budget. In addition to the paper budget form, sponsors who are required to submit a budget will also need to submit in C&P Web estimated operating costs and estimated administrative costs for the upcoming program year.
Organizations renewing their SFSP application have a deadline to submit in mid-April. Please refer to the renewal letter for information on renewal due dates. New SFSP applications are due on May 15th. However, new applications to operate SFSP during the summer months may be flexible depending on extenuating circumstances. Sponsors that apply to operate the program during emergencies are exempt from application deadlines. After June 15th, no new sponsors or renewing sponsors may be approved to operate in the current program year without waiver approval from USDA.
Within 30 days of receiving a completed application, ODE-C&P will notify the applicant of its approval or disapproval. If the application is incomplete, ODE-C&P will notify the applicant within 15 days and provide technical assistance to help the applicant complete the application process. Approval to participate must be denied to any applicant found to be seriously deficient in the operation of any federal child nutrition program, including those disqualified from the CACFP. Sponsors will receive reimbursement only for meals that are served after they have been approved for program operations. Sponsors must be certain that they have been approved before they begin their meal service. Once an initial application has been approved by ODE-C&P, more limited annual updates to the application will be required. ODE-C&P will notify returning sponsors prior to the renewal application period of the specific renewal application requirements. ODE-C&P may exempt standard application procedures for those sponsors that want to provide program benefits in times of emergencies, e.g. unanticipated school closures from October through April or at any time during the school year for an area with a continuous school calendar. These sponsors may be exempted from filing an application if they have participated in the SFSP in the current year or in either of the 2 previous calendar years. Any sponsor denied participation in the program or denied program payment may obtain a hearing by an official other than one directly responsible for the original determination. At the time of the denial, ODE-C&P will tell the sponsor whom to contact for an appeal. The following ODE-C&P actions may be appealed: denial of a sponsor's request for an advance payment, denial of a sponsor's claim for reimbursement except on decisions made by FNS with respect to late claims or upward adjustments, termination of a sponsor's or site's participation in the program, denial of a sponsor's site application, if applicable, denial of a food service management company's application for registration or the revocation of a food service management company's registration, claim against a sponsor for remittance of a payment, and refusal by ODE-C&P to forward to FNS an exception request by the sponsor for payment of a late claim or a request for an upward adjustment to a claim.
A planning checklist summarizing SFSP planning activities is available in the Administrative Guidance for Sponsors in Attachment 12 on the ODE-C&P SFSP webpage.
If you have any questions, please contact your assigned child nutrition specialist. Thank you for participating in the Planning the Program application training for the Summer Food Service Program hosted by the Oregon Department of Education. Thank you for everything you do to fuel Oregon's future.